Hello and welcome. My name is Michael Kokoloshek, a certified Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant. And I want to share something with you that really changed the course of my life so drastically. I feel impelled to share it with other people. Because before I actually understood this idea, I was stuck. I was unhappy, unhealthy. Didn't really have very many friends. I was what you would call a hermit. I was not moving anywhere. But when I properly understood this idea, it really shifted my life forward, and I really want to share it with you. And it's something that we all go through, and that's fear. I want to show you how to overcome fear. Because fear is the number one cause of failure. It just is. But there's a trick to understanding what fear is, and I'm going to share that with you. Because we go through a 4-step process every single time we try to branch out and do something new to us. And that first step that we go through, it's going to sound bad, but it's bondage. It really is as bad as it sounds. And I'm going to draw it for you what it really is and what really happens to us when we experience bondage. Now, what I'm going to draw here, if you haven't seen my previous videos, go ahead and check it out on the stick person. I'll explain it very, very minimally here, but in my other video, you're going to check it out and really get a very big and good understanding of what the stick person is. So let's get into bondage here. Now, bondage. What bondage is when you're stuck. See, this is us right here. We are the stick person here. Now, you might look at this and go, really? That's not me. I can clearly see this is me. Well, you're going to understand really why this is you as I get to explaining how you overcome fear. You see, this big circle here, that's our mind. And this bottom circle, that's our body. And in this part of us, the mind, we have two distinct, very different parts. And that's the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And down here is our body. The conscious mind, that's your thinking mind. That's your ability to think. School's putting everything in this part of us. But that doesn't get us our results. We get our results from right here. The subconscious mind, our feeling mind. You can call that our doing part. That's where we do everything. Now, what bondage really is? Bondage is where you have an idea. We'll call it an X-type idea. And you're very much conditioned to feel and think this idea. You've been thinking this thought for quite a while. And we can say that would be, I can only get this job. There's nothing else I can do. And since you've been thinking that for quite a while, you feel that way. And since you feel that way, it translates down into here into an action that will only get you X-type results. See, this is bondage. Bondage is where you quite literally are getting these same results over and over and over and over and over. It's a loop. It quite honestly is a loop. You get the same results and you're getting unhappy. You're getting dissatisfied. You just flat out can't take this job or this place anymore. Now, how do we go to the next step? Well, you actually do this naturally. You naturally go to the next step here. You go to the next step, and that's called reason. Now, what reason is, that's when we start to think. We start to dream. We start to use something very powerful. We start to use our imagination. And if you've ever read Think and Grow Rich or know who Napoleon Hill is, He'll quote that the imagination is the most marvelous, miraculous, inconceivably powerful force the world has ever known. And it is true. And you will see exactly why as I describe how we overcome this. You see, we've started to reason. We've started to use our thinking mind. We've started to use this conscious mind in the right direction. We've started to dream. We've started to come up with a brand new idea. We've started to dream, really fantasizing. But that's all we've done. We haven't really emotionalized it yet. So really, we still feel the same way. We still get those X-type emotions. And since we get the X-type emotions, we are beings that act on emotion and justify with logic. And since we act on our emotions here, you're only getting X-type results. That's it. Now, how do we get past this point? Well, that's the next stage. The next stage is something that most people go through and never fully understand why they feel the way they do. And that stage, that's called the terror barrier. This is where we're going to hit the fear. We are going to hit it and hit it hard. You see, there it is, that black line. That's your terror barrier. Now what happens is you've started to really, really dream. You've started to very much see yourself with this. So you've emotionalized it. You started to impress it. You started to emotionalize this. And you've pushed this why into the subconscious, the powerful part of you. The very powerful part of you. But, you see, this isn't the only emotion you have. You have this very big conditioning. This old conditioning, this X-type conditioning that is trying to combat and kick this Y idea out. And see, you are now in this different state of feeling. It's a chaotic feeling. It's something you don't really experience very often. And when we do, when we go to take the action, we hit that barrier, we hit that awkward feeling, and what happens is we go right back into bondage. Now, why do we do that? Why do we go back to those old ideas? Well, on a conscious level, when you hit this barrier, you start to worry. You immediately start to worry. I don't know what's going to happen. You might even say it aloud. And then you start to doubt yourself. I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. And that turns into the only emotion it can. And that's fear. It turns into fear. Fear's not very fun. We want to avoid fear. And when we internalize fear, it turns into, on a physical level, it turns into anxiety. You literally bottle up inside. You are so anxious, you can't move. And what happens is, instead of going and taking that action and going through the barrier, we bounce right back into comfortability. We bounce right back into it. This is gone, and we are back into bondage. Does this have to be the case? No, this does not have to be the case. And you might be asking yourself, how do I overcome this fear? How do I overcome something like this? Because I know I felt this before, and I know it stopped me from moving forward in my life. You see, how you overcome fear is understanding. Understanding is the key to freedom. We must understand what this barrier really is and why it's there. But there's only one way to gain an understanding, and that's study. And that's just not what most people want to do. But if you do it, and you do it the right way, which I'm about to show you, You can bust right through this fear. Now, how do you do it? You have to understand what fear really is. You see, what fear really is, it's your guide. It is your guide to where you want to go. See, there's this quote by Joseph Campbell that if you properly understand what I'm about to say, you can achieve any goal that you possibly can dream of. He said that the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Whatever you want is on the other side of fear. That's my translation. Whatever you want. If you're experiencing a 10 out of 10 fear, when it's going to talk to somebody, talk to that person. You're going to experience so much growth and get exactly what you want on the other side. Exactly what you want. So, to really study this, to really get it into us, to where we understand it, that doesn't take just one time hearing it. That's a very minimalistic understanding, very surface level. To get a deeper understanding, it takes repetition. It takes repetition of the why idea. It takes repetition of the why idea. It takes repetition of the why idea. Taking it and internalizing it and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. And when you understand what this fear is, it's our guide to where we want to go. You see, you bust through it. You go straight through the fear. It doesn't eliminate it. The fear is still there. It's still there, but you know why it's there now. And you crash through the barrier. You barrel through it, and you come into the next stage. It's the one we all want to be in anyway. And that's freedom. Freedom is on the other side of this barrier. What you want. You see, what happens, you now are taken hold of by this why idea. This why idea is in your conscious mind. It's in your subconscious mind, the doing part of you. And now you're taking a why type action. You're getting a brand new result. And the result is what you want. It's your freedom. The key to busting into freedom is understanding. There's only one way. There is only one way to gain an understanding. That is study. You must study. If you study this video and you watch it every day, you will gain an understanding of what fear is. And you will be able to bust through the fear and actually seek it out. Because when you seek it out and go through it, your growth is massive. You take quantum leaps. And the whole reason for it is to attain your goal. And if you want to attain your goal, there's a program, there's a material. This material, it's called Thinking into Results. It's a beautiful name because that's what we do anyway. Thinking into Results brought me out of the darkness and into the light. It's made me who I am today. I am forever grateful for this material. Because it's shown me how to become the person I want to be and be able to help those that need it. And if you feel like you're ready, if you feel like you're really ready to go beyond where you're at, to go to something that you want so bad inside you can see it and taste it, if you're ready to do something like that, give me a call. so I can show you what thinking into results really can do for you. Thank you so much for watching.